טוב ונעים, שבאחים גם יחד, הנה מה 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 טוב ונעים, שבאחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right, that was a good response. We still get a little bit of Shabbat left. Actually, we're getting to a close officially for our community at the end of the service. But while this Shabbat lasts, we are enjoying being together as a community, celebrating the Shabbat, but particularly for this special event as we watch the coming of age of a young man. And on this Shabbat, Max becomes a Bar Mitzvah, son of the commandments, and all the people share and witness this rite of passage for him, for his family, for our community. In Jewish tradition, one of the most famous episodes of in the Torah is when God asks Moses to come up the mountain. Moses goes up the mountain, receives the Ten Commandments of the Torah, and the rest, as they say, is history. But the text offers a kind of ambiguous description. The text has God asking Moses to come up the mountain, to come up the mountain and be there. Now this seems to be an unnecessary redundancy. Why would God say to come up the mountain and be on the mountain? The rabbis of our tradition, of course, never pass up an opportunity to interpret something that seems to be a repetition as rather replete with meaning. The rabbis teach us that God understands human nature, that oftentimes we get so immersed in preparing for an objective that when we reach our goal, we don't truly appreciate having reached that moment. So God was asking Moses, come up the mountain, ascend spiritually, physically, intellectually, but when you're on the summit, when you're face to face with me, hey Sham, be there in the moment. We hope the same is true for Max. This day represents quite a bit of preparation on his behalf. And we hope and pray that he will truly be present in this moment. Just a logistical word, if you have the newest iPhone, iPhone 6, iPhone 6, iPhone 5, Windows Lumina, and my old joke, if you truly have faith and have a BlackBerry, regardless, if you can silence it or turn it up, again, more Verizon. Silence it or turn it off to avoid embarrassment and distraction, we truly appreciate it. We begin our service with a very special introductory reading.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, with moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Our service begins on page 28. Please rise. Kirtsono, Borei Yom V'Layla, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'Choshech Mipnei Or, Umavdir Yom V'Nevi Layla, Umavdir Yom Mipnei Layla, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, El Chai V'Dayan, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama Ariv Aravim. Our service continues on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things go to our gifts to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than the holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Love God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk to them about your work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that I can be holy for your God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to his promise passes through the wilderness. There's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
I'd like to ask Sister Sophie to please come up and lead us in the prayer on page 42.
Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread us over the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, and famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming, to life and to peace, evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, and over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Adonai, hapoles sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
We continue on page 46. Please rise. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'gadol.
Kadosh.
Please be seated. We continue on page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, and all Zion restored, in all lands, you are God, whom we alone serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha v'yira na'avod.
When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, that the moon and stars you set in place, what are we, humans, that you are mindful of us? Are you mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, lying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth.
Baruch atah Adonai atov shemcha ucha la'eh la'avod. On page 60. Shalom Yahweh Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Yahweh Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atah hu melech adon Shalom, ki atah hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom, shalom, Ama Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom, Ama Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Letov emet ha'levavet, et amcha Yisrael, be'o'ed ube'hosha'a, b'shlomecha. Shalom, shalom, Ama Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom, Ama Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Take a few moments for Avodah Shevaleh, the personal reflection and private worship which can only come from your hearts and your inner voice. my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. One day, the great Hasidic master, the Rabbi Erzini, was approached by one of his students who seemed particularly vexed. So the rabbi asked his student, "Please sit down. Please, my son, tell me what troubles you so." And the young man said, "Rabbi, master, when I study Torah, when I study what the rabbis have said about the Torah, I feel such light and such warmth within my soul. But when I cease studying, that feeling disappears and I'm left with a cold emptiness unlike anything I felt before." The rabbi said, "My son, that's like a person who travels down a dark, forested path, barely able to make out the contours ahead. When he reaches a crossroads, a friend with a lantern joins him, and they continue down the path, but this time the path is illuminated. But at the next crossroads, the friend with the lantern disappears, and the original traveler is left in a darkness unlike any felt before." But, the rabbi said to his student, the same is not true of Torah. Once the light of Torah is kindled within us, if we keep nurturing it and cultivating it, it grows into a warming flame that never goes out. It sustains us, it illuminates our life, it warms us, God willing, for many years to come. For those of you who know Maxwell, you know that he has quite a spirit illuminated within him. And indeed, that spirit, in this process, has taken on the task of the spirit of Torah. It is now something once kindled so beautifully, we hope and pray will illuminate his way and warm those whose lives and touches, willing, for many years to come. And it's something that we celebrate most heartily as we reach this moment of the service, the Seder B'Yat Torah, the service of the reading of the Torah, page 244, which you all please rise.
In kamocha va'elokim Adonai ve'in k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amu yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
The Torah is the precious heritage of the people of Israel. It is the epic story of our people's past, our guide for daily living, our hope and faith in the future. The Torah was carried in the arms of grandparents and parents at burning synagogues and villages, so that children might not lose this precious birthright. The Torah was carried and passed from grandparent to parent to child, from generation to generation to generation, as we do this day.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Eloleh, Adonai Hagidurah, Hagidurah, Hagidurah,
This week's Torah portion, Bahar, is a welcome respite from most of the book of Leviticus, which is focused on slicing, dicing, julienning, barbecuing the details of the ancient sacrificial cult that we haven't practiced as Jews for 2,000 years. This week's Torah portion, however, is as timely as the issues that are concernedly driving our culture now and certainly driving our politics and our presidential campaign. Certainly one of the things that we feel in our culture right now is anger and frustration at the way things are, particularly the rampant income inequality and economic disparity that seems to have afflicted and constrained so many of us here in America. And this is obviously an issue that is as old as the Torah, if not before. This week's Torah portion focuses specifically, and I don't want to steal any of Max's thunder, he's going to talk about it some more, but it focuses specifically on economic equality and the ways in which we can provide for those who have fallen upon hard economic times a second chance, an opportunity to regain their dignity and their station in life, because according to Torah, according to God's vision for the world, all are entitled to the basics of comfort, well-being, blessing, and dignity. Max will be reading from selections from this portion, preceded and succeeded by aliyot, the recitations of the blessings before and after the reading of the Torah. For the honor of the first aliyah, one set of grandparents, Arthur and Vivian Silver, Yamdu, Una Mordechai ben Meir v'Yosef, Vita Tiba bat Naftali Nesho, La Torah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMorah.
Baruch Adonai Amorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
וידבר אדוני אל משה בהר סיני לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם כי תבואו אל הארץ אשר אני נותן לכם לשבתה הארץ שבת לאדוני שש שנים תזרע שדך ושש שנים תזמון כרמך ואספת את תבואתה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam l'tah b'tzolkenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Come here, give me some love.
For the honor of the next aliyah, another set of grandparents, Bert and Myra Official. Yavdu Avram Lotan ben Avraham Lotan, Umeir eta bat Avraham la Torah.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach. Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
ובשנה השביעית שבת שבתון יהיה לארץ שבת לאדוני שדך לא תזרע בחר מחר לא תזמור את צביח קצירך לא תקצור את ימי נזירך לא תקצור שנת שבתון יהיה לארץ והיית שבת הארץ לכם לאוכלה לך ולעבדך ולאמרתך ולזכירך ולתושב באב הגרים עמה בליב המתך ולחיים אשר בארצך תהיה כל תבואתך לאכול.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam l'tah b'tzolkenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. For the honor of the third aliyah, Mom and Dad, Jason and Cheryl Official. Yamdu Chayatzima bat Una Mordechai v'Vita Tiva Yaakov bat and Avram Lotan Umeir eta la Torah.
Baruch et
שנים, 7 פעמים, וחיו לך ימי 7 שבתות, השנים 49 שנה, ועברת שופר תרועה בחודש השביעית, ביום הכיפורים תעבירו שופר בכל ארציכם, וקידשתם את שנה ה-50 שנה, וקראתם דרור בארץ לכל יושביך, יובל היא תהיה בכם, ושבתם איש אל אחוזתו, ואיש אל משפחתו תשובו.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Last but not least, the emerging man of the hour himself, Max Bishop. Yamod, Megir Abraham, Ben Yaakov, Barak, V'chayat Sima, Bar Mitzvah, La Torah.
Baruch Adonai, Baruch Adonai HaBorach.
Baruch Adonai Barak Elam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach Elam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, hana'atana leto. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yoel היא שנת ה-50 שנה תהיה לכם, לא תקצרו ולא תבשרו את צביעך, ולא תבצרו את נזירך, כי יובל היא קודש תהיה לכם, מן השדה תאכלו את תבואתה, בשנת היובל הזאת תשובו איש אל אחוזתו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם אתה בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן הTorah.
We were honored to have Justin and Adam Katzer help us to undress the Torah. I'd like to ask them to please come forward to help us dress the Torah, and if everyone else could please rise.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
This week's Haftorah portion, the portion taken from the books of the prophets, comes from the prophet Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, and the connection between the Torah and the Haftorah portion is Jeremiah's embrace of the rules set out in the Torah about family redeeming land to keep it in the family's possession. But what makes this even more compelling coming from the prophet Jeremiah is that he has prophesied that Israel is going to be destroyed. The Babylonians are going to come in and destroy Israel for its sinfulness. However, as is the case with any self-respected prophet, you can't just have a message of doom and gloom. There also has to be hope in the future. And Jeremiah offers that hope if Israel truly repents. But in purchasing and redeeming this land, he reflects a gesture of faith in the future that demonstrates that he is more than hopeful that the Jewish people will repent and that God will reconnect with them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar be'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe abdo u'Yisrael amo u'Vivyei ha'emet v'tzedek va'ekne et hasadeh me'et Chana'el ben Dodi asher ba'anatot va'eshkala lo et hakesef shiv'a shekalim va'asara hakasef va'echtom va'sefer va'echtom va'a'ed edim va'eshkol hakesef u'moznaim va'ekach et sefer hamiknah et hechatun hamitzvah v'chachukim v'et hagalui va'etain et hasefer hamiknah el Baruch ben Neriah ben Machseah l'einei Chana'el Dodi u'einei ha'edim ha'koshvim b'sefer hamiknah l'einei kol ha'yehudim ha'yoshvim b'chasar ha'tarah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'olamim tzadik b'kol haderot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer u'Moshe ha'medaber u'mekayeh shekal lebarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevim v'ayom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'kedusha v'lemnucha v'chavod v'tifaretz al hakol Adonai Eloheinu אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני שמקדש השבת. So, when I first read the translation for my Torah portion, I thought, wow, dang, this is boring. My dad's is more interesting, and that was about which animals chew cud and which animals don't. I had been hoping for something interesting, like the Torah portion where Joseph gets pushed into a hole. But no, I ended up getting a Torah portion that had to do with grapes and the Jude of the year. But then I realized I was wrong. It wasn't as boring as I thought. This week's Torah portion, Bahar, is about the sabbatical year. According to God, this happens every 7 years. You would not plant anything in your fields at all. If rationed, your field would produce enough crops in the 6th year to last you the next 3 years. On the 8th year, you may grow crops but still must eat from the 6th year's rations. On the 8th year, your harvest shall go forth. After 7 sabbatical years, the 50th year is called the Jubilee year. And those who have sold themselves into service can return themselves back to their families, and those who have lost their land will get it back. I feel like I learned a whole lot from this experience. I learned a bit about the number 7 and how holy that number can be, as the portion teaches. L'safarta lecha sheva shevatot shanim, sheva shanim, sheva pe'amim. Lechayu lecha yemei sheva shevatot shanim, teshav arvim shana. That means you shall count off 7 weeks of 7 years, 7 times 7 years. So that 7 weeks of years would do a total of 49 years. The obsession with the number 7 in that sentence is partially proves that it's an important number. What else took 7 days? The creation of the world happened in 7 days. On the 7th day, God commanded us to rest. Every 7th year, the land also rests. In the year after the 49th, not only does your land rest, but many are liberated. It's like the Shabbat for the whole world. I think this portion means that you should have a second chance. Mom, Dad, nudge, nudge. Oftentimes, my mom and dad will give me a second chance when I do something wrong. Second chances can be the best form of rewards you can get. If you sold yourself as a servant, getting that second chance to go after your family was practically a miracle. After getting a second chance, I learned that it really means that people care about me and trust me not to mess up again. This Torah portion I learned relates to my life in multiple ways. Like scientists have proved that leaving your land a year of rest helps it grow better in the next years. The Israelites were onto something by following the Torah. For my mitzvah project, I'm going to take 10% of my Bar Mitzvah money and donate it to the Memorial Clinic. The Donate Memorial Clinic is a Seattle organization for the pets of the homeless and low-income families. I will be taking this money to buy pet food, pet toys, pet waste bags, etc. The clinic will take these items and give them to low-income and homeless families to give to their pets. I'll also donate some money directly for the free veterinary services that they offer. This gives people who can't afford care or supplies for their pets a second chance. Without the Donate Memorial Clinic, they may not be able to keep their pets. You know how much I love my dog, Bodhi, and keeping him means a lot to me. To me, being Jewish is practicing your Jewish values in and outside of religious school, such as celebrating Jewish holidays, studying the Torah, doing mitzvot, or good deeds, helping less fortunate, standing up for your friends, and tikkun olam, which means repairing the world. I'm also proud to be Jewish. And how do I see my Jewish future? I see myself participating in Lead No Takai, a program for people who have already had their B'nai Mitzvot. And maybe even one day, I'll be interested in working as a bar or bat mitzvah tutor. I still want to continue reading audio from the Torah and verses from the Haftarah. I want also to get involved in a program called Kids for Peace, which teaches kids how to unite and make peace within different religious communities. I'd like to thank everyone who came. We have friends and family from California, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, all over the country. You all have traveled here just for this one event, and I can't thank you enough for this. I would like to thank my parents for supporting me the whole time, even though they did annoy me when they pushed me so hard to practice. I want to thank my grandmas and grandpas for checking in on me and encouraging me. I want to thank my sister, Sophie, who, despite all the annoyance she can be, still loves me and stood by my side the entire time. I want to thank my mom especially for working on me with driving this drasha and helping me through the prayers. And thank you all for coming, whether you're from Georgia or just a few minutes away. Thank you, Rabbi Wiener, for helping me lead the service with me and being one of the biggest Giants fans I know. Go Giants! Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, v'atir asuri. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who frees the captive.
Amen. All right, we got some sweets. Let's have it. relatively unscathed. Sharon and Jason, come, you should be in the line of fire too. Come on. All right. Ask you to face me for a moment. Let me be the first to wish you Yashikoa, Mazel Tov, on meeting us so beautifully and so capably today. It is really wonderful to have gotten to know you and your family over these last few years as you moved from the Bay Area. Right when you came here, I think the first introduction I had to your family was Mom wearing a beat-up Giants hat every Sunday morning to pick you up and to drop you off. And of course, that was a conversation starter for me as a longtime Giants fan, and it was just wonderful to not only connect with the family from the Bay Area, but of course to connect with people with whom I can talk about sports without getting angry reactions from people as I do when I talk about, when I don't talk about the Mariners, the Seahawks, the way most people want. It is wonderful to have seen you in particular in these last few years really grown to the young man that you've become. The other day, when we met and talked a little bit after your final rehearsal, I was very much struck by the fact that, and this is not surprising knowing you, that you truly get what this experience is supposed to be about. What it's supposed to be about is not just celebrating who you are and who you're growing into, but also who you're growing into in terms of your understanding of Judaism and your representation of Judaism in the wider community. And one of the things that you said to me in terms of how this process has impacted you is that you truly feel like you have a more mature adult engagement with Judaism and understanding of Judaism, appreciation of your developing Jewish identity. Now that's not surprising to me because throughout this year of the Rabbis Club in particular, a chance in Sunday school where rabbis teach our 7th grade students, you have always been one who has not only participated in a thoughtful way during discussions, but you always have something original, something creative, something from a different perspective to share with the class and to share with me, to teach me a different way of looking at something that I've looked at pretty much the same way for many, many years. And that is in so many ways just a reflection of your very special spirit, your very special perspective, your intellectual curiosity, which makes you in some ways uniquely you. And that's something that I hope, despite growing up and becoming jaded when we get older, I hope it's something that you never, ever lose. When I thought about the special message I would share with you from the Torah portion, I'll share with you a baseball metaphor. There are a lot of people in the world today who were born on third base and think they hit a triple. Which means that they tend to think that they are so successful because of their genius, because of their efforts. Now listen, talent and hard work is certainly important, but it's not everything. What we understand and appreciate is those people who are most successful, a lot of times, they were born into a time and place and family that gave them opportunities, that gave them a context that other people haven't had. And that really contributed to who they are. And that links to our Torah portion, because ultimately all property and all lives, in some way, really belong to God. That when we are successful, as from a faith perspective, we're successful because we've made the most of the opportunities that at their foundation God has given us. And so because of that, when God says, when God teaches, when God commands, that those who have to do everything we can to ensure that those who are most vulnerable who don't have are provided with the necessities to live a dignified and comfortable life, we know that this is not just a good thing to do and the right thing to do. It is a way in which we can bring about God's vision in the world. And it is in admiration for everything you've achieved, for everything that you will achieve, God willing, in many years to come, that I now invoke upon you the Kirkatva, I mean the ancient priestly foundation of the Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. And I bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. And I shine your face, look upon you, and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha esen lecha shalom. And I shine your face, look upon you, and grant you, those you love in this troubled world, lies filled with peace.
When you were 3 years old, I was sitting in the house with Sophie while you were just outside the door in the backyard. Suddenly, I heard the sounds of you singing. While hearing you singing wasn't unusual, I was surprised to hear that you were singing the Shema. When I asked you what you were doing, you said, "Mommy, I'm just watering the garden and thanking God." Even at 3 years old, you were beyond your years. You have what people call an old soul. This means that even at a very young age, you show a deep understanding of the world around you, other people's feelings and moods, and how you relate to the world. You have always been very self-aware and able to articulate clearly, if sometimes a little loudly, what you are feeling. You take deep joy from the relationships in your life, whether it be a friend, your annoying sister, or your family. One of the things I love about you most is how open and kind you are to all people. You've had friends who are autistic, friends who are super sports stars, and friends who are, like you, a self-proclaimed proud geek with a love of games like Minecraft and Pokemon. Your heart is always open to learning about people, even though that means you drive me crazy with your constant questions, including ones like, "Mom, what is the best movie you saw when you were 11.75 years old? Why? And what was the best song in the movie?" I burst with pride when one of my friends or my teachers tell me, "I had the best conversation with Max today." While I know I tease you about how much you talk, your ability to have meaningful conversations with all ages and all types of people will take you very far in life. Max, I learned so much from you. I learned to be more open and accepting to people who are not like me. I've learned to pay attention to the details so that when you ask me random questions, I might actually have an answer for a change. I've learned to listen in a different way because sometimes you will say the most insightful things at the least expected times. I take a renewed joy in music when I listen to you talk about it and sing your heart out. I learn courage from you when I watch you on stage speaking with such confidence and ease. And you've taught me to always, always look for a rainbow. In my heart of hearts, Max, I believe you have a Jewish neshama, a Jewish soul or spirit. From that day when you were 3 years old and singing the Shema in the garden, to the fact that the other day I caught you taking a break from practicing your Torah portion by reading stories of the Torah portions that are around yours, I believe that this Bar Mitzvah is the start of a strong Jewish foundation. Your strong belief in doing what is right, looking out for those who are less fortunate than you, and taking care of the world are all values that are part of the foundation of Judaism. Take that with your love of the stories of the Torah and learning trope, the melodies that go along with the Hebrew, and I see a strong connection to Judaism in your future. Being Jewish has brought me so much joy and connection in my life. I hope that you, by taking your own path in your own time, will find that too. Max. Our deep connection brings me so much joy and pride. I love your hugs, your I love yous, Max's friends, pretend you didn't hear that part, and our M&M time. The day I brought you home, I rocked you in our rocking chair and said over and over again, "I'm your mommy." You made my dreams come true. And now I get the privilege of watching you grow and change and create dreams of your own. I couldn't be prouder to be your mom. You will always be my B-triple-B. And what that means is just between you and me. I love you.
All right, Max. When you were 5 years old, you were trying on some new shoes. You had them narrowed down to 2 pairs. On one foot, you had a good but kind of boring shoe. And on the other foot, you had a Spider-Man shoe. And this shoe also lit up. You had never had a pair of light-up shoes before, and you were clearly excited about the prospect. When and you looked at me and you said, well, Dad, I like them both. But this one, pointed at the Spider-Man shoes, gets me superpowers. It was hard to argue with that logic, and this was one of the many times you have answered a seemingly straightforward question with unique perspective and unquestionable wisdom that in a way that only you can. Around the same time, I noticed that not one, but many people would recite the same phrase when talking about you. Max is the kind of person who will change the world. This phrase came from teachers, principals, friends, relatives, and others. And the first time I heard it, I thought it was simply a nice way of saying, oh boy, you've really got your hands full with this guy. But as more and more people recited the exact same phrase, I realized they saw in you an amazing child with unlimited potential. So what makes you so unique? Well, one, you're an incredible communicator. You began speaking long before you could walk, and you haven't really stopped talking since. You have a deep conversation. You can have deep conversations with people of all ages and all backgrounds, and I can't count the number of times people have told me, I just had the best conversation with Max. Your communication skills and confidence show when you talk, and they will take you far. You're incredibly smart and curious. When you find a topic that you're interested in, you learn everything there is to know about that topic. At first it was cars, and then car washes, and then roller coasters, and then Pokemon, and then Greek mythology, and then random fun fact trivia, and so much more. You're persistent and passionate about your interest, and while at times your persistence can drive your mom and I crazy, you constantly blow us away with your insights and intelligence. You've got a huge heart. You're one of the most caring and empathetic people I know. You chose the Bar Mitzvah project that not only helps pets of the homeless people, but also helps people that are less fortunate when they're going through hard times. You're funny. You love to make people laugh and have a great sense of humor. Some of my favorite moments are laughing together as a family or watching you fall to the floor laughing at one of your own jokes. All of these traits will help you change the world, and combined, they are your true superpowers. You're a wonderful son, and I'm extremely proud of the man you've become. I love you, buddy.
We join together in our People's Prayer celebration. Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'tiyanu v'hidyanu la'azman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us alive and sustained us. Enable us to reach this day of celebration. Let us say, Amen. All right, now it's time for the Bar Mitzvah swag. You see that blue bag up there?
Yeah.
It contains some very important gifts from the Brotherhood and Sisterhood, a copy of the Tanakh, the Jewish scriptures, and a Kiddush cup, both of which we hope will have honored places in your homes in the future. From the Galanti family, a family within our congregation, membership and information in the Arts of World Union, or Four Movements Education and Advocacy Organization in Israel and around the world. From the Seattle Jewish Federation, a certificate commemorating this day, and from NIFTY, the National Federation of Temple Youth, the Four Movements Youth Division, and the Alexander Muss High School in Israel program. 2 gift certificates to be placed toward high school trips to Israel. May all of the people, places, and ideas which you study to reach this day come alive for you as you walk in the footsteps of our ancestors and our people's promised land, God willing, in more tranquil time. You can go back to your seat, but don't sit down yet. You can stand by there because I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. As on page 256, we return the Torah to the Aron HaKodesh. Yalu Shem Adonai Ki Mitzvah Shemo Levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted. Oh
יוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כנשברות האדמה, שלא שם כלכנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל העולם. ואנחנו קוראים, ומתחבבים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, היה אדוני, ומלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמות, ושמות, ושמות אחד.
Max, even at a time of unqualified joy such as this, we embrace our tradition's custom of bringing to mind those individuals who cannot be here with us because they have passed from this stage to wherever lies ahead. You are so fortunate to have four grandparents with you here today. But there were some great-grandparents too along the way. I don't know if you knew them, probably you didn't know many of them or all of them. But we bring them to mind not to open up old wounds of grief, but rather to amplify our sense of appreciation for what we're experiencing here today. Because it was their service, selflessness, and sacrifice that enabled you to become who and what you are today. And in every future celebration, and in every future accomplishment, their presence will be palpably felt. We link memories of members of Max's family to those within this community here this evening. If there is someone for whom you are in active mourning or observing a yard site, if you wish to share that name publicly, please feel free to do so as my hand goes by. Zivranam Devracha, may their members be for blessing. In memory of those named, those whom we name within our hearts, and all the members of Max's family who came before, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise. As on page 294, we affirm our faith in the living God and the words of the Kaddish prayer. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shenei rabah, ve'alma v'brach elutei v'yamich malchutei, v'chayecho v'yomecho, v'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'yilu omen, v'hei shenei rabah meborach v'yalam omer amayna, v'yiborach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalav shenei u'yisha v'yehu, Selam mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, gamiran berma v'imru omen. Yehei shalom arav amin shemayim, v'chayim olenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru omen. Yoseh shalom b'broma, yaseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru omen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all who are bereaved amongst us and let us say. And Matt, Jason, Sharon, Sophie, all of you here, Eshkach, Mazel Tov again. Just a very brief word. Jason and Sharon, the West Coast in general is a place where people oftentimes do not necessarily connect with the faith of their upbringing, the community, the traditions with which they were raised, and particularly here in the Pacific Northwest. You moved from the Bay Area, where that was kind of an issue, to the Pacific Northwest, which is the most unchurched area in the country across the board, not just for Jews. The fact that part of your transition to a new community, part of what you sought out, was a synagogue community, a place where you could feel at home, where your children could grow into self-identified and thoughtful and inspired Jews, is increasingly something that we just don't assume. It's something that we cherish and value. And it's wonderful to have you in our community, and we look forward to sharing many simchas in the future. Our concluding experience is Havdalah, the service that brings Shabbat to an end. Put it on for a second. Go with my paper here. So I'd like to ask Jill and Brian Kasser and Sophie to please come up behind the Havdalah table to help us bring Shabbat to an end. If you look on page 308 and following, you'll find the brachot, the blessings. We are also profoundly grateful to Neil Weinstein, who not only provides wonderful musical accompaniment throughout the year and is a mentor to so many of our young song leaders, but also he moonlights as the treasurer of the congregation. We thank him on many levels. I wouldn't do that. Havdalah literally means separation. There's a sense in Judaism, as there is in many faith traditions, that we human beings are hardwired to see the world in polar opposites. Light and darkness, good and evil, right and wrong, what is holy and what is merely ordinary. And so just as we begin the Sabbath with blessings over ritual objects, so too do we end the Sabbath with blessings over ritual objects. The wine is a symbol of joy in God's creative power, both of which we are experiencing here today. The spices, when we smell their sweetness in a sensory way, bring a bit of the sweetness of the Sabbath into the coming week. And finally, that intertwining candle that Sophie is transfixed by and holding very carefully. It is interpreted in so many ways, but I particularly like the notion that though we Jews are scattered across the four corners of the earth, we are bound together by a common history, a common purpose, and a common destiny. There is a melody that encompasses these blessings. Please join with me out and read.
Adonai Elohim, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov, Shavuot Tov. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase.
We conclude with the melody Elijah the prophet. For Christians and for Jews, Elijah is the herald of the Messianic time, the time of the future of peace, justice, goodness, and well-being. For Jews, because the Sabbath gives us a foretaste of that Messianic time, we conclude the Sabbath singing about Elijah, hoping he will come speedily and in our day and make every day feel like
Eliyahu
celebration, we recite the Motzi, the blessed not only over our material well-being and abundance, but also our wealth of life's most invaluable intangibles, community, family, connection, and relationship. Together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Adonai yishmor teitecha v'ocha l'chaim l'shalom yatav yad olam. May God guard our going out and our coming in unto life and peace. From this day forth and forevermore, let us say, Amen. Turn to the person next to you, wish them a hearty Shavuot. Thank you very much. Come grab all the candy. I don't have to clean it up. I want one piece left, everyone. It's your chance to go fully loaded on